Hi, Felicia.
Hi, Jesse.
Guess what?
What?
Forgot the impression again.
I'm okay
Didn't
with
really,
that.
didn't really forget it. I had circumstances where I was tired today.
Well, that's great. I personally, I'm not going to be sad about it.
Yeah, I still could have done it, but I didn't.
You want me to just do the old man?
No,
Can we do a poll in Discord how many people love versus hate the old man
I think it's
impression?
probably just me that hates it.
No, I have a feeling there's more people that hate it.
Well, I don't think Discord can do polls.
I'm
It's
going
like,
to do a Twitter poll right now, and we'll see if we can get
okay,
some live results.
literally right now.
Literally right now. That's okay. Keep doing what
All
you're
right,
doing.
I'll just play the intro. Surprise.
What are you, an idiot?
She's a witch!
This guy's a fucking idiot.
Between you and me, the man's an idiot.
Only my good friends call me an idiot.
What are you two idiots talking about?
Stuff.
Ooh.
Wow.
we got?
I happen to notice the one instance of she's a witch, which doesn't really have anything to do with this particular show.
Get in here, you idiot.
Hey,
Hey.
what's up, you fucking idiots? I did a new theme song.
You did.
Do you like it?
I kind of missed the old one, but it's still nice. I'm
How
still
dare you.
questioning she's a witch part.
Well, it says she's a witch, and then it says he's a fucking idiot.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Twice.
Well, I thought you were just pulling every clip that said idiot.
No, that's like too many. It's
sure.
too many clips that says it. You really like the old one better?
I mean, I think I'm just used to it at this point. You might have to do this a couple more times, and then I'll get used to this one.
Are you one of those people that doesn't like change?
A little bit.
All right. Well, tell us on the Discord or Twitter if you like my new soul theme.
We're gonna need to give it a shake. Not one episode is not gonna be enough, and then we can see who prefers what. What if we did one as an intro and one as an outro?
I mixed it myself.
Oh my god.
That was definitely an intro.
Okay.
Anyway, hey.
By
you, like when you said you hated my intro, who's you?
No, you said that actually, but hi, I'm Felicia. You can find me at Felicia3 on Twitter and Instagram.
Hi, I'm Jesse. I made that music that Felicia hates. You can find me on Twitter at @OwlByNight for now.
And hey, together, we're two idiots talking over stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can find our website at www.idiots.fm, which may or may not be in the process of being redone.
Yeah, I get fidgety.
I noticed by the new theme song.
I get fidgety and I want to make shit, and then I make it.
And hey, on that website that may or may not be totally different the next time you look at it, there's also links to our social media, including our Discord, which is where you can talk to the other idiots listening right now. And you can also add us at Tito's Pod everywhere, but we're most active on Twitter. And hey, we say this every so often, maybe every episode, but you know what? If you're feeling nice, why don't you go ahead and rate us on podchaser.com or Apple Podcasts?
Hell yeah, we got another episode rating this week.
Whoa, we did?
Yeah. Also, those things actually seem to work because we picked up like 3 or 4 new subbies this week.
Whoa.
And I think it was Podchaser. So thank you very much for rating us.
Hell yeah.
Wow, what nice people.
Well, that's so nice.
Hey. What's new in your life? I mean, what's going on?
I have a lot of really random stuff written down. So, first and foremost, yesterday my family came to visit, my mom, my grandma, and my uncle. Yeah. And we went to pick
Wait, is that Tony Piano?
Tony Carosa.
Wait, I'm not supposed to say that. I'll edit it.
You can say Tony Piano. You just can't name things that are going to end up in the public domain.
Okay. Wait, do you want me to edit it or can it?
I don't give a fuck.
All right. So, Tony Piano lives in infamy on this podcast.
to give an explanation for people who have no fucking idea what we're talking about, when my parents were growing up, they had a friend by the name of Tony Piano. Antonia, it's a woman, and she is no longer named that because she is married.
Oh, fuck. I always forget that. So you brought up your uncle. Tony Piano is not, it's just not a, I guess I
Tony,
won't gender it.
Toni.
Yeah, I mean, like Tony Braxton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
but you're
Toni Collette.
Italian.
So? She was Italian.
Okay.
That's not the thing I was planning to talk about, but
I'm
here
sorry.
we are.
Off the rails we
Just
went, but
go ahead and jump into my story, Jesse.
I'm just saying, you're Italian. There's got to
It's
be
true.
10 billion male Tonys
Oh,
to like
yeah.
100 female Tonys.
Sure. I don't know that I have any female Tonys in my family, but I have at least 2 male Tonys.
So I don't feel bad about gendering Tony Piano incorrectly. I'm
Well,
sorry.
you should. So anyway, they came to visit. We picked up my brother and his girlfriend, and then we went to this restaurant where I had probably the best Italian food I've ever had.
What'd you have?
I had seafood risotto and bruschetta, and they had like homemade tagliatelle, and everything was amazing.
Dude, you get in your Italian bag when you're naming food. Fucking put the spice on it.
Yeah. So that was nice. But then my brother lives in kind of a hipstery town, and they have this, what they call so there's this like local butcher. It's all farmland, so they have a lot of like these little ma and pa shops where you can shop local. So they went to this. My brother was like, "Oh, we have to go to this butcher. You get the best meat there. It's out in the middle of fuck nowhere." And we pull up to it, and there's a pasture full of cows. And I was like, "Oh my God." They kill the cows in the pasture to make the meat. Why would you bring me here? So I'm off beef again.
All right. Well,
That was traumatic.
Sometimes you see some big old, they're basically giant dogs.
I had a real big urge to take some pliers to that fence right then and there, but it was pretty off of a big major highway, so I thought maybe that wasn't the best.
By traffic.
But yeah, that was traumatizing. Thanks, fam.
I'm wondering when the dots are going to connect for me. I assume they will at some point, but like I really love dogs.
Yeah.
And I really think cows are just big dogs, but
Same.
I will just eat beef.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Is the problem, and I didn't have it for such a long time and then started eating it again. I'm talking like 10 years. And I just started eating it again and then got a hefty dose of guilt like immediately. So I think I'm going to try to lay off again.
I assume guilt's going to hit me at some point. I'm just hoping we have lab meat before then.
Yeah. I already think I've sworn off pork. The only pork I've experienced lately is bacon. And I can easily do without that.
I could probably go no pork and live with it.
Because pigs are super smart is the thing.
Yeah, they're super smart, and they're mistreated way more than cows are.
Yeah.
They're both mistreated, but pigs are mistreated in like a brutal way.
The reality is that a place like this butcher where the cows are in the pasture living their best life is probably the most humane way to do that. And like not these huge disgusting butcher like kill farms, but I still don't like to see it.
Yeah, I think if I saw it from like pasture to plate, that might do it.
Yeah. So anyway, we're here to guilt trip you about eating meat.
Yeah. What are you doing with these cute cows?
Asshole.
Fucking idiots.
I like beef too, but I'm trying.
Yeah. I'm not even trying. I will someday.
I cut my own hair twice.
Yeah, you told me that. And when you told me that, I was expecting like Marla Singer from Fight Club. Like I thought you were like panic or anxiety cutting it. And like you were just fucking your head up. Like that's a thing that you do when you get anxiety.
No, it's not anxiety, but I think there still is a form of like manic energy where it's, first of all, I'm a very impatient person. Like if I get an idea in my head, I have to see it through immediately. I don't like to wait. So as soon as I'm like, I saw a picture of myself with friends, and I was just like, too long, gotta go. And I did try to get one of our friends to do it, and she said no.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I don't want to wait that long anyway, and I decided to cut it. And the
That
first
that
time,
friend talked about that on her podcast.
she sure did.
Are you sure she knew you were gonna pay
I'm
like an
wondering
actual
that
customer?
myself. I am wondering that, but I think that she's also just like super busy and overbooked and just wanted to like hang out and not work while I'm there.
I think if you were
Uh
just because she's the sweetest person. I feel like she was expecting to do it for free because you're her friend
I mean, I
and
hope I
did
didn't
not.
give her that impression. I mean, like
I think she would
it's
put that
so
impression on herself.
maybe it's so awkward whenever you have to like talk to a friend who provides some kind of service that you want,
Hmm.
because I want like I want to lead with I'm not expecting your service for free, but I feel like even saying that makes the other person think that you might have been considering.
Yeah. Her thing is with hair, my thing is with programming. When someone comes to me and they're like, I have an app idea, I'm like, you can just keep that to in your head. Like,
Well, our
don't even tell me about it.
Well, next week I'm going to LA and our friend Shannon is going to be there, and Shannon tattoos,
Hmm.
and I'm going to get something from her while I'm there. So when I messaged her, I was like very upfront. I was like, I know that it can be awkward when your friends book your services, but I just want to put out there that I'm not expecting any favors.
Yeah,
Pay, like, charge what you charge me more, because if anything, I will tip generously to support my
absolutely.
friends.
That's what you do with service industry friends.
Yes, absolutely.
Big time.
So like I guess I didn't give all the disclaimers when I asked this friend for hair stuff, but I just assumed that she knew by now.
Nah, dude, she's probably tired or like
I think that's true. Like I don't blame her at all. But
she's
anyway,
not that she wouldn't big time you.
no. Oh,
Like
no,
that's
not
not
at
what would
all.
ever happen. So I assume she was just like booked and she was like, I would do this for free probably, but I don't have
It
room,
could
so I
be.
gotta say no.
I honestly think part of it too could just be like you're excited that a friend is coming to hang, and then suddenly they ask you for a service and you're like, "Can we just not?"
That also sucks because it cuts into
Yeah,
your hang time.
exactly. So like yeah,
Yeah.
I don't blame her at all. And truthfully, I didn't have the patience to wait that long. So I just did it myself. So I cut it once. I thought it was fine, but it was just like kind of shapeless. So then the second time I just kind of went in and gave myself some layers. And I do have that like don't know when to stop gene a little bit. So I think I might
Yeah.
have fucked up one side of my head a little, but I don't think it's
Uh,
that noticeable to anyone but me.
I don't know. Whatever you put on stories looked fine.
Yeah. So I don't know, my family complimented it yesterday, and when I said I did it myself, my mom gave me the most horrified expression.
Yeah, dude. I think most women probably would give you that expression.
Yeah, the weird thing is when you tell somebody that you cut your own hair, it's almost like they just take it as a cry for help. It's like
Well,
they think that you're insane.
dude, it's funny because that's exactly where my head went
I know, and I don't
immediately.
know, like, we conditioned ourselves as a society to think that when a woman just does something for herself, there must be a problem.
No, it's not that. You were saying like my family's coming and I have anxiety and I'm manic and I'm gonna cut my hair.
It's more like
I just read that as like it's like
c
cutting, but not skinned hair.
no.
So I thought you were like fucking your
First of
hair up on
all, the
purpose.
first time I cut the hair was before I even knew my family was coming to visit.
Hmm.
So it wasn't an anxiety response, but I do like I've been prepping to go on vacation. So I've kind of been in this like hyperactive mode of cleaning and organizing.
Yeah,
And so
that's what I was attributing it to, not to the parents, but to the trip.
yeah, but when that happens, it's more like I'm just in this hyper productive mode and I want to do everything that everything that crosses my mind has to be done then and there.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, I'm gonna cut my hair. But the thing is, I'm not bad at it. So
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know what I was gonna see.
nobody has any faith in me.
I have very little faith in anyone who says they're gonna cut their own hair.
I'm an artiste, Jesse, and that's the thing you have to understand.
My mom used to do it, and 9 out of 10 times she would look like a page.
Oh, no.
Just speaking ill of the dead a little bit, but she knew she hated her hair. She used to always like curse me because I had when my hair was like long and grown out,
Mhm.
it like had natural curls at the bottom, and she would be like, "Why'd you get that hair?" and I got her hair is just like straight and thin.
Yeah, I think, part of it for me is that my hair does grow pretty fast. So I know that even if I fuck up, it's not going to be with me that long.
Mhm.
And if I really fucked my head, then went to see our hairdresser friend, I feel like she'd be like, okay, I'm going to fix this because you look like shit.
Probably, yeah, she would probably do that.
But yeah, like there's always something to fall back on. I knew I wasn't going to fuck myself that hard. Uh, and I think it turned out just fine.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it looked fine to me.
Thank you. The other thing that I did this week is I picked up a game on Switch called Witchwood, spelled WYTHTCH.
I saw
Wood.
that, but I forgot to look it up. What's
So,
its deal?
how do I explain? You're like a little witch who lives in a hut in the forest, kind of Baba Yaga style,
Mhm.
and this like it's a goat, but I think it's a like human soul in a goat, comes to you and says that you owe him 12 souls, and you have to like go get these souls by crafting various potions and ingredients and like foraging for certain things.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
It's really fun. It's like a very cute little game. There's like 6 different locations you can go to that are all like they all have their own little soundtracks. There's no audible dialogue. It's all like text, and then the rest of it is just like cute calming music. And it's like if you're into kind of foraging and crafting type things, it's a really satisfying game. The only thing I'll
Yeah.
say is that it does kind of get repetitive because, your first couple missions, everything you need is pretty much in the same location. But after that, you really have to go back and forth from location to location just to like pick up one ingredient here and another one there to make this, to make that, to make. So it does get a little frustrating because you're like, I gotta go all the way to this next town just to get a fucking bird feather. But if you're into like just kind of zoning out and mindlessly doing that kind of thing, it's satisfying and it's very cute. It's fun. There's a little bit of like a little bit of brain work involved. I recommend it. I think it's a like solid 8 or 9 out of 10 for me. And I
Oh,
originally bought
that's
it
pretty good.
because I'm about to go on vacation, so I was like, I'll have something to play in the airport or on the plane.
Yeah, but you already
And now
played it out.
I'm like 3 out of 12 souls are left.
Oh, no. Yeah,
Yeah,
find
so
another
it's
one.
certainly going to be done by the time I leave. But yeah, it's very cute and wholesome, and I recommend it.
Cool.
The last thing that I have written here is that I bought a cameo from the voice actor who plays Arthur in Red Dead Redemption 2
Uh-huh.
because I don't really remember why it occurred to me, but I just thought to look him up on Cameo because I was like, I wonder if you can get a cameo from Arthur. And he was there for a relatively reasonable price. And I have a bunch of friends who all love Red Dead Redemption 2, and like Arthur is extremely beloved to the point where one of my friends will even just log in occasionally just to like take him on a spa day, like buy him a new outfit and give him a haircut. Like
Right.
he's just the fucking best. So I bought this cameo, a little bit for myself, but also for my friends.
Uh-huh.
And like I gave him all the names, and I was just kind of like, if you could just give them like a little Arthur hello, that would be great.
How many?
Just 4.
Oh, okay. That's not that bad.
Yeah, my friend Alex and his wife Kelsey, my friend Hannah, and then Benny.
What? Benny
um,
loves Red Dead Redemption?
mhm.
I didn't know
Sure,
that.
he played it because of me.
I probably like picked that up during your podcast and then
Well, you're about to because we're gonna record. Benny doesn't know I did this yet.
oh, sweet.
if I know he doesn't listen to this podcast, it would be unfortunate if this was the one week he decided to.
Yeah.
But we're gonna record something on Thursday. We're gonna record a Wild West episode, and I'm gonna surprise him on the episode with a cameo.
Oh, that'll be a fun episode.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought for a bit that he had canceled it because the Cameo website said that they're going to put a hold on my credit card for the amount that it cost. And if he doesn't respond within a week, they'll just take the hold off and I never get charged. And the hold got taken off. And I was like, did he refuse the Cameo?
He was like, 4 names. Fuck this.
Well, I assumed he just wasn't checking Cameo because it has been a while since the game came out. So I was like, well, I guess fuck that. But so I woke up the next morning to the Cameo and it was so wholesome. It was like 2 minutes of him talking like Arthur and just like saying, I hope you have the best 2023. But then at the end of it, he was kind of like, I can't believe that I'm on my couch doing this Cameo. It's been 4 years since the game came out, and I can't believe people still love Arthur this much. And he was like so genuinely happy, and like it was so cute and wholesome. And it made me want to cry because I'm like, we adore him.
Do you have a parasocial relationship now?
No.
You're not going to show up at his house, are you?
No. But it was just like really, really sweet. He was like,
yeah, you didn't have to do that.
Exactly. He was like, I worked on that game for 5 years and, it's still so important to people. So it's just like the best response I could have gotten. And I sent that off to everyone but Benny. And I was like, surprise.
I want to get one and tell him I hate the fucking game. There's too many cutscenes just to even this out.
Don't you fucking dare.
I want to even it out.
No.
I'm curious what you paid, but I'm sure it's embarrassing, so I'm not gonna ask.
It wasn't for me, so fuck you. I had actually told the one friend that I was getting it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. I told him that I had gotten it and it had been canceled because I genuinely thought it had been. And at that point, he thought that I had bought it for myself. So when it actually did come in and I sent it to him, he was like, oh, you were doing this for other people? I was like, yes, fuck you. So yeah, it was nice, and I'm excited to show it to Benny.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
When's that Western episode come out?
Who fucking knows, dude? We have a plan to record it on Thursday.
You guys run your podcast at a level of chaos that would drive me insane.
Fucking talk to Benjamin. It is all his fault.
Oh yeah, he's a little lead boy.
Exactly.
Can I spoil what
yeah.
what you told me about Benny?
Okay, wait. Let me preface it. So the last episode of my other podcast, Spell You Later, started with Benny getting a hamster, like literally an hour before recording. An hour after we were supposed to start recording, he just randomly decided to buy a hamster because he has a little boy ADHD brain.
Yeah. I saw the screenshot of the text. That's literally what happened. He said, "Oh, I can't record. I'm buying a hamster or something."
Yeah, it was like, "Sorry, I'm running late. Stopped and bought a hamster," or some shit like that.
Yeah, just
I was
unhinged.
just like, Benny, what? So when I texted him this week because we had planned something else, but then I got the Cameo, so I wanted to change it to another theme we had in the works, which is like Westerns. So I texted him and I was like, can we actually record the Western episode sometime this week? And he was like, yeah, that sounds good. I have a hamster update. And I was like, that fucker is dead. I know it's dead. So I texted him kind of jokingly, like, you killed it, didn't you? And he responded, it's definitely dead.
Yeah. Was that a week?
Probably like 2 weeks since we recorded, but I don't know how quickly after the purchase the hamster perished.
Yeah, I think
not
hamsters
gotten the story yet.
I think they're supposed to live longer than that.
Generally, yes, but like I don't know anybody who doesn't have some kind of traumatic hamster story from their childhood.
My brother stepped on mine.
Oh my god.
and he said, I heard its bones crack.
That's
And
so horrific.
And I'm glad I didn't hear that. Like, it fucked
Yeah.
him up a little bit.
Dude, one time I was in the car with my grandparents and my grandfather was driving and he hit 3 baby raccoons on the road and I felt the bump. And this happened like
Yeah.
15 years ago and it fucks me up to this day.
Dude, that happened to me with a dog.
Oh no, that's so much worse.
It's way worse.
Did you hit it?
Yeah, I did.
You fucking monster.
Well, it was off listen, I love dogs. I would have crashed my car to avoid the fucking thing, but it was dark and it was like a dark dog on a sidewalk with no leash. And he just ran right under my tire, like from the side of the road.
I'm gonna cut you off here, and I'm going to assume that the dog was fine and lived and got treated at the vet, and they put a little bow on him, and he went back home fine. And I don't want you to tell me otherwise.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm sure he's still playing with his family.
That's great. Let's move
on. That traumatized me real nice for probably a month.
Yeah, that's just a month? I just said 15 years about raccoons.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that kind of attachment. It sucked.
Like, I mean, you heard my cow story at the beginning of this. I can't handle I genuinely can't handle any kind of animal being hurt in any kind of way.
I can't either, but I get over stuff like fast. I think it's like childhood trauma experience.
Yeah, it's just a coping mechanism.
I'm not over it. I'm sure I'm just shoving it down.
Yeah.
I've just learned how to shove all that shit. We should do a depression episode one time.
But anyway, the point of that was that Benny is a hamster killer.
Yeah.
I told him, dude, pet store hamsters are the fucking worst. They were not built to last, so I'm sure it wasn't his fault, but we'll see when I hear this story.
Do you think that it jumped off his sink or he forgot to water it?
Well, it was him and his roommate who bought the hamster. So it's that's 2 people who...
If it's neglect, then they should never own another animal.
I can't imagine that it would be if they only gave it water when they first bought it. I feel like it would still have some water from time they bought it to now.
It's got those big dropper boys.
Exactly.
You can put a lot of water in there.
That can't be it.
I hope not, man. What do you fucking
do? It certainly could be a stepped on situation, though. I can't wait to hear this story.
Why? All right. Fucking Benny.
Hey, so what did you do?
I had an annoying work week. So I worked a lot. I had insomnia one night, which is going to play into something we're talking about in a minute. I had this idea to edit Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
Not the whole movie, just a clip. And then I had an extended idea, maybe I should just do these sometimes and put them on YouTube Shorts because I've decided I hate TikTok.
Why?
It doesn't. So I do everything on a computer. I look at my phone probably under 15 times a day. I almost never use my phone.
That makes sense then.
So I do everything on my computer and TikTok's web app sucks.
And I've never tried it. I do everything on my phone, so that makes sense.
Not only does it suck, I'll have Steve or Kevin or someone will send me a video. I'll have the notification on my phone. It's never on my desktop.
Ooh, weird.
So I never get messages, and then it doesn't obey my phone algorithm. So my phone algorithm will show me videos that I can scroll through and be entertained by. But if I use my desktop one, it's those fucking pranks, those stupid, lowest common denominator prank videos that only toddlers laugh at. So it sucks. And YouTube Shorts, I found recently to not suck it. Its algorithm's perfect. I scrolled through it for 4 hours one day.
See, I found them to kind of suck when I'm using my phone.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm doing a Top Gun Maverick edit because I had this idea for a funny thing to do with it. Cool. And I'll probably put it on TikTok and YouTube Shorts when I'm done with it.
I was gonna ask if it was about Goose, but it's Maverick, so I guess not.
No, it's we watched Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Any military movie has this where there's a bunch of like macho guys in a briefing room and then someone's talking to them.
Uh-huh.
So Top Gun Maverick has that scene. It's in a huge hangar with all the like hotshot pilots, and then
Yeah.
Maverick's the one talking to them. So I had this idea to take that scene and intercut it with a scene from Magnolia where Tom Cruise is a motivational speaker for like incels.
Oh, no.
And he's saying like the worst shit you can imagine.
Oh, God.
Like what I remember right now is he says respect the cock at some point.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So I want
That's
to
gonna
cut.
fit too well.
It's gonna fit, yeah. I wanna cut between those like super chauvinistic pilots cheering and shit and smiling.
I like it.
I think it'll be funny.
Nice.
I need some time to do it.
Yeah.
That was it though. I worked in music otherwise, as always.
Cool.
But I didn't do anything else. I didn't even play anything but Fortnite.
I haven't played Fortnite all week. I was busy cleaning shit.
I played it less than I usually do. we just had a busy week, I guess.
Yeah.
Felicia,
Jesse.
what did we watch last week?
I restarted American Horror Story because I didn't particularly enjoy it.
I've seen season 1 of that and no other seasons.
Okay, so my experience with American Horror Story is that I have seen every season up to Roanoke, I think. I don't even know what number that is, but I've only seen them all the way through one time. And a friend of mine who also watches it asked me, like, do you watch it? I said, yes. She said, do you like it? And I said, I don't think so. And I think my problem with it is that every season they just try to introduce way too much. There's way too many plot lines happening. They do so much just purely for shock value that doesn't add to the story in any way. I just got through the first season. I think I actually enjoyed it more than I did last time because I picked up some things that didn't make sense to me before. I still think they tried to do too much, but it was better. But now I'm on the second season, which is Asylum, and it's a fucking mess. It's so just off the top, there's, the asylum aspect, then there's a serial killer, then there's a demon possessing a nun, then there's an alien abduction, then there is Nazis, and then there are zombies.
Are they like traveling through dimensions or some shit?
No, it's all taking place right there in the asylum.
Why?
That's an excellent question. It's like, it's such a clusterfuck. And so much is happening that doesn't need to be happening.
Yeah, I think I pass.
Yeah, dude. It's like, I don't get, because I think Asylum is the first season where Sarah Paulson is a main character. And I love her. I think she's genuinely fantastic. But like the source material is real bad, woman. I don't know why you're doing this. And I remember that there were seasons I liked and seasons I didn't, but I don't really remember why. So I'm just kind of making my way through, and it certainly helps when you're not sober, which has been most of my experience so far.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think Asylum is going to be up there.
Season 1, I don't like horror that unsettles me. And season 1 was that style of horror that unsettles me for some reason. It was more unsettling to me than Hereditary was.
They really try to make you uncomfortable. That's like first and foremost with all seasons of American Horror Story, is that
I'm not into
plot
that.
I'm not either. Like plot is secondary to just trying to make you uncomfortable. It's really they do so much. Like one of my pet peeves, I'm sure I've talked about this, but one of my pet peeves in horror is when they just rely heavily on shock value over story, and American Horror Story absolutely does that. I remember a lot of people were immediately off of the hotel season because it like opens up with some weird creature that has a screwdriver penis raping somebody. And that had literally nothing to do with the entire rest of the season.
That was just the writer having an idea and then just wedging it in there.
That was just like, I'm going to start this off by making you say, what the fuck? And that just kind of sets the tone. And I think that's just what they love to do. And I don't like it.
Yeah.
It baffles me because some of the story has promise. If they stick to one, maybe two of those plot lines, we could be somewhere. But it's just like they threw a bunch of spaghetti at the wall and it all stuck for some
Yeah.
reason.
I don't like that.
No.
I don't. I think I took that show's temperature after season 1 pretty well.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't going to go in a direction that I want to keep watching it.
I think, some of the cast is so strong and every season is so different that I just kind of kept hoping that they would get there eventually. And I think some seasons they did hit close to the mark, but I can't from memory point out any season that was like, this is great television. It all has some kind of flaw.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm making my way through it high and I'm having a good time.
Well, that's all you can ask.
Yeah.
Did you watch anything else?
Besides the second episode of The Last of Us, which we'll talk about in a bit, no, I did not.
All right. Well, we watched Legend in VR, kinda.
Kinda.
I think we watched
most
about
of it.
Yeah, like a little more than half maybe, and then went on a tangent on I remember.
It took me a second to figure out what your note there meant.
Oh, middle tooth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never seen that before. Apparently, like Tom Cruise, when he was starting out, his teeth were aligned oddly or something, and some angles make him look like he's got one big middle tooth.
I don't think it's just angles. I think he legitimately has one big middle tooth. I've seen a still, like, the reason a lot of people know this is that there was like a still image meme that went around that was like, there was a line bisecting his face and it cut directly in the middle of the tooth.
Jesus.
So Tom Cruise has one middle tooth.
Well, I'm not trying to tooth shame the man. It was like, but when someone pointed it out, I couldn't unsee it.
Yeah, it's distracting.
And it ruined his whole character for me.
Well, in this
It's like
movie,
Fleabag.
Legend, he's like Jesse has a thing about teeth.
Well, when I can't unsee it and it like distracts me, then I have
distracting,
a thing about it.
Well, in this movie, Legend, it's like one of Tom Cruise's first roles, I think. He's super, super young, and he's almost like a Tarzan kind of character. So he's, meant to be like a teen heartthrob. So the middle tooth is understandably quite distracting.
Yeah, they made a decision in that movie when they want to like up the fantasy. They would just start blowing a bunch of shit into the scene.
Yeah.
Like it looked like dandelions and shit all over the goddamn
even, like,
place.
Snow. It was just like flower petals and like dust.
Yeah, there's just shit in the scene, in the air, and they just had fans. Someone said while we were watching it that some of those scenes were entirely dubbed.
Yeah, because
of the fan noise. They had so many giant fans like blowing. Dude, anyone with allergies who watched that would probably start sneezing.
Yeah.
It was so fucking, and I kept looking to see if any shit was like landing in actor mouths, but I didn't see any.
I will be completely honest. I did fall asleep for a decent portion of that movie. And then
it wasn't an exciting movie.
No, it really wasn't. I don't completely remember. Oh, yes, I do. I was going to say I don't remember what we switched over to, but I do.
Yeah. There's a guy on YouTube, I think YouTube or TikTok, named King Cobra, who is unhinged. He's disgusting. It's like when we watch Yankee in the South, but it's the opposite end of that. It's not wholesome to the point where you're like, you're not doing this for real. It's the other side where it's depraved.
Yeah. But we started watching a documentary about him.
By him, I think.
Well, the first one was. The second one, I don't think was.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend watching his channel. That guy's fucked up. That guy is real fucked up, but it's fun with a bunch of people if you like laughing.
That's a stretch.
Also, when he microwaves food in his disgusting microwave, he puts his face on the thing to like watch it. It's
he coughed at some point while eating and it made me gag.
Yeah, it's not great, man.
Nah.
It's not great. But yeah, sometimes we do that during VR. You can't go in there expecting to watch a whole movie. Sometimes it happens,
No.
sometimes it doesn't.
No, that's why you don't like watch anything genuinely good in VR.
Yeah, never. We watched an episode of that 90s show together.
We sure did. And the weird thing is I found a tweet that said that 90s show currently has a 77% critic rating and 74% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I saw
That's
that.
so high.
You cannot trust Rotten Tomatoes. You just every time you see something like that and it doesn't make sense, just do yourself a favor and go look at what they're saying in those ratings, and then you'll figure it out real quick. It's not like the brightest bulb
Yeah,
right in those reviews. I watched that whole season.
that's so
'Cause
much.
I had insomnia one night. So I had watched 2 of them and I told Miriam, this is a dumpster fire. And I watched 2 so that I could tell you not to waste your time.
But then you suggested we watch it.
Well, I wanted to talk about it on the podcast and I didn't want to do that like 2 episodes in just in case it got good.
Yeah.
Spoilers, it doesn't. It's just garbage the whole way. I think they had some ingredients to do something good,
Hmm.
but the whole tone of the show is fucked.
Yeah.
It's like a
So
Disney
wait,
Channel show. It's not
right.
even as edgy as that 70s show was.
That's kind of where the disconnect is. So we watched the first episode in Discord with our friend Beth, and I think the consensus was that, you know, like there are some cameos from the original cast that are cute, and give you a little bit of nostalgia. But other than
Yeah.
that, it is just a very strange vibe. It doesn't feel like they're making this for the people who loved that 70s show. It feels like they're not even making this for like teens. It really
No.
does feel like a Disney Channel original show. It's such a strange energy. I don't really like the cast is not good.
No.
You know, there's a Foreman character, there's a Jackie and 2 Kelsos, there's a Barely Hyde character, and then there's a
Oh,
really poor attempt at a Fez.
there's that Jackie character isn't Jackie.
No.
It's a really bad attempt at a Jackie.
Yeah.
And as the spoilers, if you're watching this, but as the show goes on, you find out she's like a super straight edge, straight A student.
Yeah, not Jackie.
Not Jackie. She doesn't fit the character that they're trying to make her. Like, and that happens with some other characters too.
Yeah,
It's
I
just not,
just don't.
it's lazy. It's lazily done.
It's lazily done, and they're not like it's unclear who the audience is.
It's like Disney Channel for 8-year-olds or boomers.
Yeah, no,
Neither
like
of whom are going to watch that show.
I think you said that the same like teens they're trying to market to are the ones who are watching Euphoria. So it's
Absolutely.
like, you know, this is not the shit that they're trying to watch. This is way too baby.
I can tell you the moment it turned into an absolute hate watch for me.
Okay.
And it was episode 4 and I knew like going in I was like, "Oh boy." Cuz the title was The Rave and I was like, "Oh no." Because you can't do a Disney Channel rave.
No.
But they sure as fuck did. Like, it looked like a garage that was well lit. Like, you've never been to a rave, I assume.
No, but I am peripherally familiar with rave culture from you
Yeah.
and our friends. I was going to drop names, but I won't.
So in the 90s, I was. So this episode in particular, like, sent me to a dark place because I was like, they fucked this all up because it's well lit. For one, it's a very small garage. They're playing the shittiest, like, royalty-free EDM you've ever heard from the wrong fucking decade. It's like shitty EDM from the 2010s. It's so bad. And they mentioned, one of the characters said, "Did you bring the pacifiers?" to another one, which is an ecstasy reference. But that's it. Nobody had pacifiers in their mouths. When you're on ecstasy, you're sweaty as fuck. They're all dry. Nobody's touching each other. Like, ecstasy makes you want to touch everything. Nobody's touching each other. It's just, it looks like a sock hop.
Well, I think
and it's
that
in Milwaukee, which is like a
right.
big city.
I think to a lot of people, the word rave just translates to party with glow sticks.
In
So
us in the most lit garage. Like, why even have glow sticks
so weird.
if it's lit? All they had to do in that scene was make it dark and then focus on the characters and not the background. But they let you see the background actors dancing
Oh,
poorly,
no.
very poorly. It looked like Saved by the Bell, dude. It was so it was so
Well,
fucking bad. And that's when I was like, yeah, they're trying to make this show for teens that are already watching Euphoria. You could have
right.
gone way harder and gotten the vibe right, but it was like they couldn't say the word ecstasy.
That's so
And it's on
strange.
Netflix. They don't have a rating.
Right.
They don't
You
like,
could see
why?
a titty on Netflix.
You
It doesn't
could
have
totally
to be
see a
G.
titty. And it would be, dude, if they did that with the 90s show, if they made it edgier with that 3-camera sitcom feel,
Mhm.
it would have been way funnier and way more interesting if they had just added some edge to it. But they went
Yeah.
the opposite direction. It's just fucking garbage.
The cast is too young. There's not enough of the original cast, minus Daniel
No.
Masterson, obviously.
More spoilers.
Okay.
So Jay Kelso is Michael
Mhm.
Kelso's son.
Mhm.
He goes from being dirt dumb to just being normal.
What the fuck?
He changes with the wind. So the writers just want to write him a certain way and they ignore how they used to write him in the last episode. So he's just going back and forth. They force feed you romance in like episode 3 between Foreman's kid and Jay Kelso.
Ugh.
And she wants to have her first kiss and she tries to kiss him and he turns to Don Juan.
What?
And he's like super chivalrous and he's like, no, I want it to matter. Meanwhile, they set this guy up to be a player. He keeps saying, hey, girl.
Yeah. In the first episode, he's flirting so hard.
And guess what? In the very next episode, in the rave, he says he put on like tiger piss perfume to get laid with her.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that romance buds. And then by like episode 8 or 9, they switch it. She doesn't want to be with him anymore. And she and Nate get something going. Nate's the other Kelso, the big dumb one.
The one who's with fake Jackie.
Yeah, with fake Jackie. He's just big dumb the whole show until episode 10, where he starts talking to her like a human being. And it's
Cool.
so fucking weird and forced. And yeah, I hated it. It's just so lazy. So very clear that this was just a bag. It was a bag for
Yeah.
like the original actors, and a bag for the producers, and they didn't care about it at all. And it's just lazy and shitty, and the writing is terrible.
It's a bummer, but it's not unexpected.
No, I knew from the trailer. I knew in the trailer they showed the kids. I was like, that's gonna suck.
Yeah.
So I watched a movie called Enter the Void, it's got some of the best cinematography I've ever seen and some of the coolest shots. It's about a drug dealer who dies and his spirit floats out of him. And then you kind of like flash back through his life as his spirit, as it's detached. And they shoot it in a way where you're first person perspective with the spirit for the most part. Sometimes you're third person from a memory, but for the most part, you're in first person and you're just seeing what the spirit sees.
Interesting.
And he never talks. You're just listening to stuff. It is interesting, but they made a choice in the story. Spoiler if you're planning on watching Enter the Void. But they made a choice to make this guy and his sister have an extremely fucked up childhood that leads to them like having feelings for each other.
Oh God.
And there's a scene early in the movie where she's a stripper. This all takes place in Tokyo, by the way.
Okay.
And it's extremely pretty and it's extremely visceral. Like, it's a gorgeous movie, but she's a stripper and she's like the club owner, and it shows the spirit going into the club owner and possessing him.
No. I hate
Yeah,
that.
I hate it too. And I was like, uh-oh, I don't
Yeah.
like that.
No.
And from there, they just go back and show the life flashing back and then moving forward to the point where he died. And you could see how he was like trying not not to have a physical relationship with his sister who was being like pushy about it sometimes.
Ugh.
And I didn't like it.
No.
Like I got through half of the movie, even though it's like one of the prettiest things I've ever seen. And I wanted to keep watching. I was like, this is a bummer.
It sounds like it.
It's a super bummer. And I noped out of it. So I don't even know what happens.
Yeah,
But
that's
if you can
wild.
take that sort of thing,
Nah.
Enter the Void is amazing for its filmmaking.
Nah, that's not enough to keep me.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially since you have a brother. It's
Right.
probably, you would have way stronger feelings than I do.
Well,
And
you
my
have a
feelings are
brother.
pretty strong. Yeah, but it's way different.
Yeah.
So I watched The Bear in its entirety with Miriam, and I liked it so much. I was like, can we watch this again? So we watched it with Beth. And what did you think? I thought going in that you were gonna love it.
Yeah, I loved it. I wish there were more,
Yeah.
but I think it still did a good job telling a complete story. There didn't need to be more, but I think they are working on a season 2. It was fun because that like a lot of the characters are Chicago Italians, so some of the stuff that they would make was like stuff my family makes, or some of the things
Yeah.
they would say like, when you're saying like when you're like kind of frustrated saying like, oh, maron, that's a super like
Yeah.
Italian family thing to do. So it was really like strange but fun watching that kind of dynamic play out. And then other than that, it's just a really good show.
Do you remember the actor's name, the lead?
No.
Some of the best acting I've ever seen. Like that
Yeah.
guy's good.
He is very good. He also has like this super long monologue that was like, I feel like he probably has some theater experience.
It crushed that one. Crushed
Jeremy
me the first
Allen
time I saw
White.
it. Yeah, Jeremy Allen White. He's very good.
Yeah,
That
he is.
monologue crushed my soul the
I
first
didn't
time we
quite have
watched
that
it.
experience with it because I think I was just too busy being like, wow, he's doing a good job in this monologue.
Yeah, maybe like Enter the Void with you having a brother. Maybe The Bears like me having a brother.
Yeah, probably.
It's a very like our dynamics very similar. Like I
Mm.
look up to my brother a lot. And the premise of the show is that, did we talk about this? Maybe we did. But the premise of the show is that this super like up and coming master chef.
Yeah, like Michelin star chef. He
Like,
won a James
yeah,
Beard
yeah.
Award. Yeah.
Yeah, super chef. His brother like kills himself and leaves the family like sandwich shop to the chef. And he and there's like a bunch of unfinished business and stuff. And he doesn't want it to fail, so he like takes it over and starts running it like a Michelin star restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
but with its original staff, which is all like grody Chicago people. Not even grody. What am I looking? Not
Just
grody.
like, I mean, normal. Like,
Salt of the earth.
Yeah, salt of the earth, kind of rough.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm looking for. Rough around the edges.
Yeah.
It seems like they could all get in a fist fight and then be fine at the end of their shift.
Right.
Which you had picked up on. You said that was like
yeah,
your
my
dad's
dad worked in
experience.
the restaurant industry with a lot of people that he's still really good friends with to this day. And like that, it from his stories, it seems like that's what working in a restaurant is like, where you can, yell and scream at each other and call each other all kinds of profane things. And then at the end of the day, when
Yeah.
your shift is over, you can all go out to breakfast or whatever and be fine.
Yeah.
So it did.
Did you
like,
tell your
that
parents about this show by
I
chance?
did. I told my mom when she was here this weekend, but I specifically want my dad to watch it to see if it rings true.
Yeah, follow up on that. I'm interested to see what
Yeah.
he would think.
Yeah,
But yeah, that show's fucking amazing. It's got really good acting in it.
it does.
The weakest character for me is Sid.
Sid. She's okay.
Sydney.
Yeah.
She's got an affect that I think is, I don't know, it's like really passive aggressive, like she says a lot.
Yeah.
And it grates on my nerves, but I think that's what the character's supposed to do.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's intentional. I can't believe though that she annoys you more than fucking Richard. I can't stand that man.
Richard. Oh, yeah, Richie.
Cousin.
Richie, who's not Italian, we find out.
Who's not Italian but pretends to be pretty hard.
Yeah, he just I think he was basically like adopted into their family. His family probably sucked.
Yeah.
He's that kind of character. I like him. I thought he was endearing, but he's definitely
No.
he's a huge dick.
The reason that I can't stand him is that like so many of my dad's machismo Italian friends are like that, and it just
Mm.
like grates on me. I can't do it. Like my
Yeah.
dad used to have this one friend that would come over for like holiday dinners, and there was one point he talked pretty much exactly like Richie, and at one point he like gestured his empty glass to me and was like, "Hey sweetheart, get me a drink of water." And
Oh no.
I started to take a deep breath to say something, and my mom was like, I'll get it." So like
Oh no.
I can't fucking deal with that kind of person. I'll open my mouth and say some shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah.
He was just like funny to me, but I've never had to deal with anything like that.
Nah, toxic.
Funny toxic. It reminded
Yeah.
me of there's some characters like that in like Breaking Bad and The Wire and stuff.
Hmm.
Where they're just so over the top toxic that it loops around and it gets funny to me. But not if you've experienced that, probably.
Men.
Fucking men.
Fucking men.
We watched a few episodes of Letterkenny.
Yes. I still don't know how I feel about it.
I like it. I've watched like 4 episodes or 5 in the past, and I just stopped watching it, but I didn't hate it or dislike it. I can't remember why I stopped watching
Yeah,
it.
I
But
didn't hate it or dislike it either. I think it's just such a foreign format. Like there are some
yeah.
bits that genuinely like made me laugh. There are many very funny moments, but all the characters
Yeah.
have this very like humorless, flat, matter of fact delivery, and like it's such fast dialogue that I know it's purposeful and it's kind of meant to be a bit, but sometimes it just feels like too bizarre to me. Like people don't talk like that.
Right.
So
Well,
I don't know.
not
Sometimes
people we know.
no, but I don't know. It's just the delivery is off to me and it's a little distracting. I think that's where I am.
Everybody in the show is a Canadian hick.
Yeah.
Like even there's a group of cyber goths, and even they are Canadian hicks. I think.
I can't deal with them.
But it's a certain I think it's a certain region of Canada. I remember seeing like a mini doc or something like that, where everything these people are saying is shit that would be said in this region. They're
It's not
just
even
over the
what
top
they
with it.
say, it's like the way and the speed. I feel like,
Yeah.
for Hicks, they shouldn't be as smart as they are, like with their comebacks. They shouldn't be that
Dude,
quick.
you can be dude, let me tell you, there are quick hicks. I've grown, my whole family, my extended
quick
family
hicks.
is from like the border of southwestern Virginia and Tennessee in the mountains. They can be funny. There are funny hicks. There are quick-witted hicks. Like being a hick doesn't change your brain to where you're dumb. It's just a lot of the times you're like undereducated because of your circumstance. But
It's not just that they're funny. It's more like, I don't know. They seem more like educated than their quiet hick farm life should be. I don't know, man. It just the tone is so weird to me and foreign that I don't know if I can get over that.
I think that's what intrigues me about the show, because the tone is so different, and they do a good job of immersing me in their world.
Yeah.
And I don't understand all the words yet, but I assume as the seasons, like this is a beloved show.
It is.
So I assume as the seasons go on, you start learning the language better, and the jokes will hit harder probably.
Yeah. Like it had some moments where I was like, I could see myself eventually liking this show, but right now it's kind of like, one bit in 30 will hit for me.
Yeah, it's like we'll probably watch it when we don't have anything else to watch.
Yeah.
Which is basically what it was when we watched it. Didn't have anything else to watch really. All right. We watched right before we started recording, we watched episode 2 of The Last of Us.
I want to hear your thoughts first, as someone who doesn't have any experience with the game and can't speak to like what was different and what you didn't like versus what the original material is.
Yeah, having no idea. It was very tense, but the tension.
Are we doing spoiler, or are we doing non-spoiler thoughts and then spoiler, or are we diving right into spoiler?
this is heavy spoilers. I'm
Okay.
gonna title
Cool.
it spoilers in the
Okay.
actual podcast title when I post
Spoiler
it.
warning starts now.
Yeah, because the way that we record, we're always going to be able to watch the episode and then record right after.
Yeah.
So
And I
we
assume
might as
most
well.
people who are watching it, like most people who are really excited about it, have probably played the game or have some experience with the game. And if
Yeah,
you don't, you've had several days to watch it now, so don't blame us.
and I've never played the game, so this is heavy spoilers for episode 2, but nothing about anything further because
Yeah,
I don't want to get spoiled on what happens.
right.
Episode 2, I thought was good. It was very tense, but in that tension, I knew what was coming, which is that's like a constant problem for me.
Hmm.
Like when I sense that the writer is trying to make me feel tense, I'm like, oh, that's gonna turn into probably someone dying, or
Hmm.
that's gonna turn into a bunch of zombies. Because
Hmm.
a large part of that episode is just them like creeping through an abandoned city.
Yes.
So as soon as they stepped into, I think it was the library. Was that the first building they went into
I'm not sure what the first one was.
with the
Maybe
clickers?
that was the museum.
Okay. So when they stepped into the museum, I knew there was going to be dead shit going on in there.
Uh huh.
So that did not surprise me, but I liked it overall. I liked that the characters were getting more attached to each other. I could feel that happening. Like that was well acted. I felt like Ellie was getting closer to what's her name?
Tess.
Yeah, to Tess. I felt like a mother-daughter situation happening there, which also clued me into who was gonna die. A problem with this show is that even if you've never played The Last of Us, you know it's about Joel and Ellie.
Yes. That's, I mean, that plus the nature of the game being kind of like a post-apocalyptic zombie
Yeah,
survival game, you know statistically there's not going to be a whole lot of survivors.
correct. So I would say from the first 10 minutes, I knew Tess was gonna die in this episode.
Hmm.
I didn't know how she was gonna die, though. The way that she died was very interesting.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. But everything I liked. It felt like filler kind of though.
Yes. So let's start with that. The way that they are breaking down each episode is strange to me. This episode is such a small portion of the first chapter of the game that
Uh-huh.
is mostly traversal and combat. So it was really really strange that they devoted an entire episode to this.
Yeah,
I have a feeling it's just because they wanted Tess's death to end an episode, but
yeah.
there was just like there's so much to come that I don't really understand why they wanted to do an episode that was mostly filler.
I have a feeling that there's so much to come, so much, and probably so much action that they wanted to front load the relationship building stuff with Joel and
Yeah,
Ellie.
they're definitely trying to get a lot of exposition in there. But the other thing that I think was part of why this episode was the way it was is that rather than just straight playing homage to the story,
Uh-huh.
they are also showing off how much like they are focused on getting the scenery, location, gameplay, combat, music, and enemies all game accurate.
Yeah.
So like the museum and the last building they enter, the one with the yellow dome, those are straight out of the game. This is the episode
Mm.
that introduced clickers, which are the most frustrating enemy, arguably, in the game because they're like insta kills if they get to you until you get certain abilities.
Right.
And they looked perfect. They looked and acted perfect.
There was a
Um,
featurette that ran after the episode that I
yeah.
watched and I told you to watch. And
Yeah, I don't like to watch those because I feel like it takes like they used to do that after Game of Thrones because it's HBO and I would
yeah.
never watch them. It's like I just want to be swept away.
I think I kind of liked it because I had never played the video game, so I like those
Yeah,
featurettes because they're telling you like
that's
what's
fair.
different.
It was nice that like Neil Druckmann had said, you know, the first time he saw an actor in the clicker prosthetics, he like cried because it looked so perfect.
Yeah, they did really look fucking horrific.
Yeah. So, but also like really cool at the same time.
Yeah.
So this is where I start. Okay, also, I'll say that this episode was a lot less one-to-one than the first game. There was a lot less like, this is an exact scene from the game, and more like, these are just themes and locations and scenery from the game.
That was probably by design. They were probably like, we need to hook the people who played the games and get them to trust us to go through the rest of the show.
Yes, but I'm hoping that's not meaning, okay, now we're not going to do that at all anymore.
No, but they have to write it in a way that you don't like. Not many people want to just watch the same narrative structure unfold.
I didn't have a problem with that. I'm not saying that I was expecting it to be completely one-to-one. I just wanted to start there because my point is the Tess death scene. Now, the weird thing is, in a lot of ways, it was one-to-one. There's a lot of the same dialogue. Tess gets bit and infected during the fight in the museum. And then when they get to the place that is supposed to be the Firefly camp, where they're supposed to be dropping off Ellie and collecting their reward, and discover that, all the Fireflies are dead. That's all completely accurate. The weird thing is that what happens in the game is that Fedra, or like the military, is the one who raided the Firefly camp, and they're still there. So there's kind of like a final gun battle. Tess reveals that she is infected to Joel and Ellie, and she says she's going to stay behind. And there's like a gunfight, and they shoot Tess. So she doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a happy ending for her, but it's like, at least she's not going to turn. So in this episode, it's not military, it's infected. And the other thing that's strange about that is that they added this, like, part of what they talked about in the kind of like behind the scenes after the show section is that they decided this new feature of the infected is that they're kind of like a hive mind. And they did that because they did all this research into the way fungus works, and it's like accurate to how
the mycelium fibers.
Yeah. So that's a whole new thing that was not in the game. They introduced that into the season.
Yeah.
So like Joel shoots an infected, and that essentially alerts all other infected in the area to their position, and they come and raid the area, and Tess douses the building in gasoline and is trying to light it. The thing I found extra weird is then a zombie comes and essentially tries to make out with Tess.
Yeah.
I was like, was that necessary? I feel like they did Tess dirty, honestly. I think it was so much like they kind of breezed past the explanation for why it was zombies and not military in the game. They were just kind of like, oh, we didn't think it would work. And I'm like, why? I think part of the thing that I love about The Last of Us is that, 9 times out of 10, the real monster is just other humans and not even zombies. So I like that there are so many sections of the game where it's not even the monsters, quote unquote, that you're fighting.
Yeah.
It's just other people in the world. So it took a little bit away for me that they replaced that with infected. I also feel like it's just, having every infected be connected by this hive mind is kind of something that they're going to have to keep up with. Like, I get it. I think it is kind of cool that they wanted to make the virus work the same way that actual fungus behaves. But I think it's going to be messy down the line because, you step on something and all of a sudden all these clickers know where you are. It's just like...
They didn't look like clickers, though. It looks like they were a different class.
Not clicker. They're called runners.
Runners, okay. Dude,
but yeah.
This is where we diverge because I love I love that whole sequence. And I think if that was just some fucking special forces dude, it would have been boring.
No, dude, because it's like, I don't know, it makes Tess seem extra badass because she's like, I'm gonna take on all these men in a gunfight, essentially.
Well, she's doing
Um,
that. She was like, I'm gonna
she
sacrifice, I'm gonna take
is.
off, not only take
And
on all
all of
these
that,
zombies, but let one fucking put its weird mushroom shit in my mouth so
but
I
that,
can
I
blow them
don't
all
like, I
up.
didn't like that. That's so weird. Why did you have to? She could have just lit it all on fire. You didn't have to have one like assault her. I
So
don't know. I didn't like that.
I think so one, that's badassery because she knows if she like flinches or runs, it's just gonna rip her apart probably. So I think she was just doing that to buy time. The thing that in the moment didn't make sense to me is why she's using a Zippo instead of pulling a pin on one of those grenades and just waiting to die. But
Yeah, that's fair.
the answer to that is because that's a trope that's been done a billion times. It's
Yeah.
Craig Mason's a really good writer. So he's written some bad shit, but he's an experienced writer.
Uh-huh.
And I think that they probably talked about just pulling a pin out of the grenade and then just ended up with it's more tense if she's trying to flick a Zippo to life.
Yeah. I see. I can see that. I don't know, man. I just
I agree with you though. When I was watching that, I was like, why is she just standing there? That's weird.
yeah, yeah. One of the reasons that I was kind of like I thought it might be kind of cool is that I thought what they were doing is because you know how at first when they start coming into the building they all run past her.
Uh-huh.
I thought that that was like, well, she is infected and they recognize that she's infected, so they're not hunting her. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool. And then one of them just starts flat out fucking making out with her. Why? Why was that necessary?
It noticed her for some reason, and it
Yeah.
cocks its head like it can see, but it can't.
Like,
It
I don't
was,
know. Is
I
it trying
think,
to connect her to the network?
yeah,
Plugging her in?
yeah, yeah. Well, that's how they infected the grandma. Like, you remember those fibers from
Yeah, no,
the
I
old
remember
lady?
the fibers. I just don't remember the mouth to mouth passage.
It's interesting because in the first episode, I thought those fibers were just hair. So
Yeah, I wasn't sure what they were.
the sequence was even expository in that way, like explaining what we saw in the first episode was, oh, they're not worms, which is another thing that I thought they were. They're like some weird fiber thing that connects these zombies and turns, it seems like everyone's a queen. So even if one of these fibers is in distress, all of the other ones like run to it. And it doesn't matter which one's in
Yeah.
distress.
I think just from, obviously I'm still looking at it from a game perspective.
Yeah.
So I just like in my mind that makes gameplay more complicated
Hmm.
because, you kill one zombie and the rest suddenly know where you are. And I just feel like that's going to
Yeah.
cause some issues down the line. They're going to have to keep like explaining away why Joel executing one zombie doesn't cause a horde of 30 more to come after him.
Well, it seems to be like which ones he's choosing to execute. Like that one he executed just started dripping those fibers, but not the clickers. The clickers didn't. They just had
Yeah, the
blood.
clickers, right. Well, Craig Mazin also started talking about how, and this has come out in articles as well. In the games, one of the ways the infection spreads is through spores. Like
Uh-huh.
there are areas that you can't traverse through without a gas mask because you could inhale it and get infected.
Right.
So this is kind of them replacing that.
Which is,
Uh,
to me, it's smart, but you've played the game. If I had played the
right.
game, that would probably get on my nerves.
I don't hate it. I think I just don't like I don't want them the whole rest of the series to be trying to like skirt that. It just feels like a feature that's going to keep coming up and I think
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little messy.
You're just,
But yeah, it was
I think they're just trying to make it, it's interesting. There are very few good game adaptations
yes.
in history. Very, very few. I can't even like think of one off the top of my head that I really liked.
No, I can't either.
And I think it's because there's a lot of like expository cutscenes, but then you as the player entertain yourself as you move through the levels.
Mhm.
So some of that shit would be fun as a player, but when you try to convert it through filmmaking, all of a sudden it's like if they had the spores thing, if it was just spores in the air, you lose the emotive qualities of your actors immediately. Like if they have to wear a gas mask all the time, you can't see their faces anymore. And that's
Yeah, but you could still use it to create tension. Like maybe they encounter it in an area they're not expecting, and suddenly if they have to hold their breath. I don't
that's
know.
true. I'm sure it's
Um,
coming. Something
well,
like
he
that's
said
probably
that it's
coming.
not going to be this season, but maybe season 2.
Yeah.
uh I guess my hang up is just like, I don't know, I had a point. I kind of forgot it.
Mm,
I didn't hate this episode by any means. I think what they're doing is they're trying to not only, convert it to something that can be enjoyed as a watcher who hasn't played the game, but I think they're also trying to make it make more sense scientifically.
yeah.
They're trying to give you a ton of the science that they touch on in the games, but they don't give you a ton of background. And I think where I struggle is I don't think you necessarily need to be inundated with all the science. I
Right.
think sometimes a zombie can be a zombie. Like I like zombie things, and I already thought that The Last of Us was super unique in that it is a fungus that spreads through spores, and that's like a pretty interesting explanation for this virus.
Hmm.
So I already thought that was cool. I didn't necessarily need it to be like super accurate to the way fungus behaves in real life. But I understand that there are people who can't just buy into it at face value and do need that explanation.
Yeah.
So I guess, where I stand is just like, I think maybe they're feeding us a little bit too much and not giving us enough of just, they're taking their time, right? Like
Right.
they're trying to give us more explanations than I feel like we need, and it's taking up a lot of time that could be used introducing all these characters that are still to come. I just felt like this episode was a lot of traversal and not a ton of story. The main event was Tess's death, and I
Yeah.
understand that it is a big event, but there's so much more to come, and I just want to get to that I'm like a little bit like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. And that's
um
where we differ. I thought
yeah.
this episode was fucking great. Like not a ounce of
Well,
boredom
that's
in me.
good. I would love this to be accessible to more people because it is my favorite game and it's a great story. So if they're doing it in a way that it's appealing to people who haven't played the games, I think that's great. I think I'm just a little anxious to get on with this story.
Yeah. Well, dude, if they had a filler episode and it's episode 2, shit's gonna pop off.
Yeah,
They
shit's
just
gonna
had to
pop
get
off.
Ellie and Joel acclimated to each other in this episode, which worked.
Yeah.
Like I felt them getting
Yeah.
closer, and I felt Joel
I
like
guess.
there was like little like good actor shit in
Uh-huh.
this episode where there's like little
Yeah.
glances where you can
Like
tell.
walls breaking down slightly.
Yeah, you can read. They're so good. Both of these actors are so good. You can just read their intention. That you don't need exposition.
Yeah. And I think, again, I think we touched on this last week, but they have to do a lot of work, building an actual visual story out of sections of the game that are just going from point A to point B and, stabbing a zombie here and there.
Oh, there's a line I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
Best line in the show so far for me was when they were on the museum roof.
And she said, look at that view.
No, when
Or,
she said that was scary, this is wood.
oh, that's not in the game, but those like bridges that are just a plank of wood from building to building, those
Yeah.
are in the game. So like I touched on how they kind of incorporated a lot of gameplay visuals into this. That's one of them, is that you get from rooftop to rooftop by finding these big planks of wood and like creating a bridge. The other thing is when Joel hoists Tess onto the roof,
Uh-huh.
you have to do that a lot in the game too. There's a lot of like, press triangle to have Ellie step into Joel's hand so he can hoist her up.
Yeah.
So like that was really fun. There were all these little nods to the gameplay.
That like one line and then her just like meandering across said a lot about her character, like backfilled a lot of her attitude, and that was cool.
Yeah.
I really liked that line.
They did. I mean, it was a good episode. I think I'm just eager to get on with more of the season.
Yeah, I think it's coming. I think this is going to be a great show.
Well, this is not really a spoiler because they said it at the end of the episode where she said like, get Ellie to Bill and Frank's.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the like coming up section because I don't really want to see too much beforehand, but I'm a
I was
little bit
peeing it.
nervous.
I was peeing with my headphones on and I heard it.
I'm a little bit nervous already because, I mean, this isn't really a spoiler because I have no idea what's going to happen. But in the game, Frank is already dead. Like, he is someone they just kind of talk about. So I have no idea what they're going to do with his character and Bill, who's Nick Offerman.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Do you know about the casting? Because I definitely heard Nick Offerman.
Well, that's because when they announced the cast, I'm looking at all these people, and like for the most part, they're all in the game. But then I saw Frank, and I'm like, why did they cast a corpse? So I don't know what purpose he serves in this next episode. I think this is where they might start veering. I don't know.
I bet it'll be
We'll
great
see.
though. Nick Offerman's a never miss for me. I've never seen him in anything where he's
Dude,
missed.
it's like crazy windy.
Yeah, I
and
just
like
heard
shit's
that.
crashing against the windows.
I heard
so
that.
I thought it was
Mr. like knocking his food bowl over or something.
No, he is asleep on the couch and was just as startled by that as I am. I have no idea what that was.
Weird.
Some shit hitting the window. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's The Last of Us. Great episode for me. Pretty good episode for you, it sounds like.
Yeah, pretty good. Just getting a little anxious and hoping everything else goes, smooth and cohesive. And I'm sure it will.
I think it will, but they're definitely going to veer from the game because they have to. They can't just do. They just can't do it like shot for shot.
Right. I think what is causing the most anxiety for me is just like, I don't want them to feel like they have to rewrite the game in all these different ways because it doesn't hold up, because I think it really does. So the parts where it's going to differ, I'm nervous that I'll be like, why? Like, why did you need to do that?
And then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know, the time for asking questions is right now.
Hey, Felicia, we got a question from Matthew Palka from the Discord, our friend.
Hell yeah.
If both of you had to... Oh, wait. I fucked with my brain.
I saw one. I didn't read your answer, but I saw one line because my name is in it, and I'm already upset with you.
All right, well, let me read it.
Yes.
If both of you had to star in a really good movie together, what kind of movie would it be and about what? Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay, so I said mine is a murder mystery. Felicia gets murdered. I have to solve it.
That's not a movie together. I'm just dead.
Well, we're both in it. You just get murdered.
How much of the movie am I in before I'm a body?
I don't know, like the first act.
Do I only exist in flashbacks?
No, you're in like the first act.
Oh, good. I'm so honored that this movie you and I are in together. I'm a corpse.
Yeah. Anyway, you get murdered. I have to solve it using only my computer skills, like because I can't leave my house because of my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the twist is, it turns out it was me that killed you, and I was sleepwalking.
I just feel like you're really acting out some kind of fantasy you have here.
No.
I just think there's a little bit something under the surface that's maybe bubbling.
No, we're fine. And then I said we'll need to take some liberties because I would have to be sleepwalking in not San Francisco. I'd have to be sleepwalking in Northern California somehow, which is impossible for multiple reasons. But we can just write it in the movie. Maybe that's where we introduced the bouncy house.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting that, Palco is like, let's create a friendship situation where you guys are in a movie together, and your immediate thought was, I kill her.
He didn't say that. He said we have to star in a really good movie together. It could be Knives Out.
Together.
Yeah, you're there.
You murdered me.
Yeah, there's flashbacks and stuff. We're in it together.
Oh, God.
It's just your corporeal form doesn't exist after the first act.
Let's put this to a vote. If all of you, do you think that Jesse is diabolical for writing me as dead in our movie together or nah?
No, I think it's great. I think the
Uh-huh.
audience will agree. What's yours? What are we
I
starring
said
in?
that we were gonna be in a Western together and we're just fellow outlaw gang members and we fuck shit up and
So
like
you're like
ride
a
horses and rob
Annie
shit.
Oakley?
Kind of, but we're just like in a Western crew together as friends who do shit together and don't kill each other.
What if I get murdered?
You're not gonna get murdered because
Wait.
I'm gonna kill the people who try to murder you.
We're on our horses riding away and they shoot me in the back and you have to get revenge.
Great. That's the new plot. Sure.
Dude, that's a common plot. I feel like it's not even diabolical. That's just
Fuck you wrote it.
Dude, Friends where one gets murdered is so common in the movies. I'm just saying I'm not that far off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
like
it's
that
insulting.
It was your first thought. I think it's a little insulting. Sound off in the comments if you
Yeah,
think
let's
it's a
just
little
sound off
insulting.
in the comments about it.
Sound off in the comments if you think this is just what Jesse wants to do, but he can't because he can't leave his house.
Yeah, the only thing keeping me from being a serial killer is my terrible anxiety.
That's actually an interesting movie.
Actually, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
That's a note I will make in my little thingy later. Yeah, that's interesting. That's like an unquenched thirst type of situation.
Yeah. Jesus, the wind. I have a question.
Okay.
And it's because of my family being here that this was brought to my attention.
Uh-huh.
Do you have or have had any recurring family prank? And I'll explain.
Huh.
So there are two that have happened in my family. One of them partially occurred this weekend. My mom years ago, both of these actually start the same way. My mom bought a stupid holiday decoration. This one is a Christmas one, and it's a wooden Santa face, and it's supposed to be a kitchen Christmas decoration. And on it, it says, Santa says you're supposed to have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
That's fucking nothing.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Big nothing. What's the prank?
So, I hate it, and my mom knows I hate it. So we have basically taken to like removing it from wherever it is and then hiding it in each other's stuff.
Yeah.
And this started when we lived in the same house, but now that I live 2 hours away, it's a little bit more complicated. So basically, like, one of us will have it every Christmas, and when we take out our Christmas decorations, it's time to like figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I had it this past year and brought it to my mom's house, and I had hidden it in her stuff, but she found it before I left for the weekend and snuck it into one of my shoes. But then I found it right before I left for the day and was able to hide it again in her stuff. So I really didn't think anything of it because I knew she put her Christmas decorations away. So I figured she put it back in with her Christmas decorations. But when she was here this weekend, she managed to hide it in my bed. And I went to bed at 11 p.m. in the pitch black and came across something wooden in my bed. So now I have it again, and it haunts me. And the other one is very similar, but it's a Halloween decoration that we refer to as the creepy pumpkin, because it is like a very evil looking pumpkin that my mom thought was adorable, but me and my brother thought was awful. And we would it started with us just turning it around so we couldn't see the face. And then it would just disappear from wherever it was, and one of us would find it somewhere. So that's ongoing between me and my brother, although it hasn't made an appearance for several years now. I know he has it, though.
Yeah, that's just like a little, not vocal I love you. Just I was thinking about you sort of thing.
Yes, a devious one.
A devious
but yeah,
one.
It just brought up that question. Like, have you ever had like a recurring bit in your family?
Yeah, me and Miriam had one. I can't remember where I got this thing, but I had like a hand puppet dinosaur that's got the stupidest look on its face. It's like a big toothy grin. and we would just hide it around the house. And one time I like hid it on her car door or in her car. Uh, and now it lives in our curio cabinet. But we did that for a few months, I think. But nothing like that with my family. There was one of my brothers has a beard, and he
Mhm.
was clean shaven until he was like 19 or 20. And then he just grew like a man beard, and we started making
Okay.
fun of him for it. And yeah, we would give him like beard shit every Christmas for several years. Like jokey stuff. I made like a bearded
Yeah.
man's grooming kit joke thing for him one time that I don't remember I don't even remember what was in it, but it was a big hit. Uh Other than
So the
that though,
family bit was bullying your brother for his beard.
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And that went on for
Perfect.
a while. But my brothers are like 9 and 10 years older than me. So I
Mhm.
was like, I got bullied for a long time. So
Oh,
when I started to get like quick witted in my teens, I like let it go without any remorse. I started shitting
yeah,
on him for
as you
everything.
should.
Yeah. So that beard got a lot of play. But that's it. Yeah. Me and Miriam just did a dinosaur hiding game thing. But
I
again, it's
think
like,
everyone has one of those, like hiding something in the house for the other person to find.
yeah, it's like a adult elf on the shelf, but it's like an
Yeah.
unsaid I love you. It's just when you see it, you think about that person and you're just passing it along.
The creepy pumpkin went pretty far though. It like got to the point where we completely destroyed its face with different substances and like I made a video in GarageBand and got all my family members to like film their death at the hands of the creepy pumpkin and then I edited it all and gave it to
Hell yeah. Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could go for one of those. Maybe we'll start passing the dinosaur around again.
I'll have to show you my creepy pumpkin video.
Hell yeah. Put it in the Discord if you're cool with it.
It was so long ago. Just know that.
The guy was like tearing him to pieces with his mouth. So I told him, get off, it's like, and the guy just kept eating the other guy away, like ripping his skin.
Larry Vega describes it as a scene out of a horror movie as a naked man chewed off the face of another naked man.
So I don't really have much news this week. I grabbed 2 headlines.
I also have 2.
One is Infinity Pool is a nearly X-rated disturbing romp that has Sundance clutching its pearls, which makes me want to watch it.
It was already on my radar. It's a little high concept, so I don't like a little art housey, so I don't know how
Yeah,
much I'm gonna like it, but
I was
I
thinking
still
that.
never really believe that it's, whenever critics are like, it's terrifying. It's
Yeah,
not. It's
when
probably
people
not.
said that,
But
were saying that people are like puking during Terrifier 2. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
right.
it's like, yeah, sure,
Heard
okay.
that before. Uh,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, this intrigued me. So I want to watch Infinity Pool. The other one is not
Yeah.
entertainment related. I just read it and I was like, what the fuck? It said 6-year-old boy who shot his teacher previously said he wanted to light her on fire and watch her die.
Holy fuck.
And I was just thinking, like, we can just throw that one back, huh?
Yeah.
Like that kid, can we just unmake him somehow? Or just put him in a corner or
That's a
something?
bad batch.
Yeah, that's like some poltergeist shit. You just
Yeah.
move that one into an asylum or wherever
Yeah.
we keep
That's not
those.
great.
Yeah, that headline's fucked up. What are yours?
I have one fucked up and one kind of funny, so I'll do the fucked up one first to get it out of the way. So, you know how Alec Baldwin shot someone on the set of his
Uh-huh.
movie Rust?
Yep.
He just got charged with involuntary manslaughter, so he could face 18 months of jail and a $5,000 fine, but I'm sure his lawyer will get him out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Like rich white people don't go to jail for that,
Yeah.
probably. I saw that, and he is apparently like toxic as fuck in Hollywood currently.
Oh, yeah.
So he's at least gonna lose out on work for that. Although
I'm sure.
I remember reading about it. I think he's not being held to that involuntary manslaughter as an actor. I think as an executive producer.
Yes, because of like negligence on the set.
Yeah. As an
Uh,
actor, I feel for him. As an executive producer, I don't as much.
yes, because it's like him and the manager of the props department or whatever who are getting charged for essentially negligence for
Right.
allowing live round to be in the prop gun.
Yeah.
So that was my kind of fucked up one. The other kind of funny one is that apparently Guy Pearce and Kate Blanchett have beef. And
That's weird.
like somebody started a Twitter thread about it and was like, why? Because Guy Pearce was like retweeting articles about Kate Blanchett and saying all these kind of passive aggressive things. Like when she won an Emmy or something for that movie Tar. And he was like, why? Or he said like, oh, interesting choice or some shit.
That's really funny.
So somebody was like, why the fuck does he have beef with Kate Blanchett? So somebody else found this article from 2009, and it has to do with like, I guess she has some ownership or had over the Melbourne Theatre Company, which employed him from time to time. And I think he just had beef about how much more she was getting paid than other people. Because at one point he was cast in something and was like, I'll only do it if I make what Kate Blanchett makes. So I guess ever since then, he's just had this beef with her.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It's so weird because I feel like they're both relatively like not problematic people.
Yeah.
Guy Pearce mostly just keeps to himself, and Kate Blanchett is like a sweetheart.
I've never heard a bad thing about her, or even that.
No.
Not even like
So it's just
a tabloid thing about her.
It's just so funny that they have this like 14-year feud going on, or at least he does with her. I don't know what she feels about him.
I really love the why about Tar. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, there was another passive aggressive tweet where someone had just posted pictures and was like, if you missed this photo shoot that Kate Blanchett did, check it out. And he was like, no thanks.
Oh man, Guy Pearce might be my favorite. That's so like petty.
I love them both.
That's so petty.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Are you excited?
Yes, about something you've probably never heard of.
I sure haven't.
I'm excited about Poker Face, which is out on Peacock this Thursday, January 26th. It's Ryan Johnson, who is the writer-director of Glass Onion and a bunch of other shit that I like, and Natasha Lyonne, I think is how you say her name, from Russian Doll, who is a very good actress.
I like her, yeah.
She's very fun.
Yeah, she is.
It's about a woman who can tell when someone is lying, like maybe supernaturally, it hints at, and investigates/solves crimes for fun while she's on a road trip, is what it sounded like to me. Which is like a fun premise. She's just in a car going down the road and meeting people and solving crimes. And that sounds fun to me. And
it does.
I think Ryan Johnson is a great director and writer.
It's a TV series or a movie?
It's a TV series.
Okay.
Out on Thursday. So I'm going to watch that, I think.
Yeah, sounds good.
Felicia,
Jesse,
what are we watching this week?
Well, this is actually your pick, but I'm in for it, so why don't you explain that?
This is called Jung E, like Jung _E, which is a serial number, I assume. It's an action-adventure drama on Netflix that is either out or coming out soon. I think it's out. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, it'll be out by the time our watch-along comes up on Friday. So, on an uninhabitable 22nd century Earth, the outcome of a civil war hinges on cloning the brain of an elite soldier to create a robot mercenary. They're kind of burying the lead. I don't know why I didn't put this here, but I read that it's actually someone cloning their mother.
Oh.
So I think the clone is like an elite commando mother person, maybe. Runtime 138, written and directed by Sang Ho Yan, which is ya boy.
Train to Busan.
Train to Busan. Shout out Thick Dad.
This isn't Thick Dad.
No.
But Thick Dad is in Train to Busan.
Correct. I was just shouting him out because we mentioned Train to Busan.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He's a great.
Shout out.
I love Thick
Don
Dad.
Lee, love you.
Stars Kim Hyun-ju, Ji-won, and Ryu Kyung-soo. And I'm sure I butchered every one of those.
Did a good job, I think.
Yeah, I saw this randomly. I saw a teaser and then I saw a trailer. I was like, this looks fun. It's got shitty critic reviews and high user, which means it's probably
Oh,
a fun action thing.
yeah, I think so.
That's usually
I
what that
just
means.
I'm really excited about it. I just can't stop calling it Jungie.
Yeah, I keep doing that too because we call one of our friends Mungie
Mhm.
because his Fortnite name is Munge, like Munge, and we just been calling him Mungie.
Yeah.
So as soon as I saw Jung E, it definitely became Jungie. And I'll never call it anything else in my head.
Yeah.
Oh, we did it. Jesus.
We did it. It's a little bit of a long boy, but I will say next week might be strange because I'm sure we can put out a herding, but I'm not sure what the watch along is going to be like. I think maybe you might have to do one with Beth.
Okay, I can do one solo or with Beth if she don't wanna. Or
Yeah.
with Beth if she wanna, rather. We'll make it work.
Or we just pre-record. So we'll see. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll make it. Well, so the next one up was supposed to be Zardoz, and I want to watch that with you. So I would skip that
yeah.
one. I'll find
Yeah,
something
we
though.
might just need to. Yeah, we'll figure it out and let you know.
Hell yeah. All right, that's it. God damn.
Thank
Do you
you for
think
hanging in there if you did.
do you think it would be good to make The Last of Us like a special separate episode and I just cut it out?
No,
No, just keep it in?
no, just
All
keep
right.
it in.
Cool. Wow. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Don't let a mycelium tongue kiss you. Spoilers.
You've been listening to Two Idiots Talking
Imagine-
Stuff, produced by Jesse Stillwell.
Imagine if someone
Original
was
theme
listening
and
to this
outro
outro
music by
still
Jesse Stillwell.
and missed the
Someone
spoiler
skipped the
tag.
whole- Yeah, will someone skip the whole spoiler section, Last of Us, just to hear that?
Yeah, just to hear me spoil the weird fiber
Something that's
kiss.
gonna make no sense to you until you watch the episode.
Yeah, even though it's a spoiler, it probably still doesn't make sense.
No. Anyway,
Well,
bye.
bye. Have a good Wednesday. Why don't you?
Have a
Or
good
whatever
Wednesday.
day you're listening to this on. Bye bye.
Okay, goodbye.